Well, Jennifer Rubin, again, this is from the Washington Post. She said this, quote, when prosecuting cases involving mishandling sensitive information, the Justice Department will look for aggravating factors. For example, did the defendant sell the documents? Did he intend to use them for some other purpose, like maybe blackmail? And then she goes on to say, obstructing an investigation into snatching top secret material is certainly the sort of aggravating factor that would draw the Justice Department's attention. And former President Donald Trump, according to the latest news reports, seems to have done just that. No shit. So, and Rubin points this out, telling your employees, which is what the Orange Vomit did, to move documents sought by a subpoena. You could say that's kind of damning evidence that you rarely see in federal prosecution. A former prosecutor tweeted this out, according to Jennifer, quote, the employee is unlikely to be charged if he continues to cooperate. But his testimony suggests that Trump tried to keep documents from the Department of Justice, which had already served a grand jury subpoena for the documents before this employee was ordered to move them, end quote. I wouldn't say before he was ordered to move them. I would say before he was ordered to hide them. So this former federal prosecutor added this, quote, this testimony from the witness, combined with other factors, such as the false certification to the DOJ, the Department of Justice, that everything had been returned. All of this taken together suggests an effort to hide the documents from the federal government. This evidence is an aggravating factor that could weigh in favor of charging Trump, end quote. That could weigh in favor? Could? Maybe? Possibly? Well, Trump will just say it's one more fake investigation trying to fuck up his life. Well, Rubin points out that this kind of conduct on the part of Trump would not only fit the definition of an aggravating factor for an Espionage Act indictment. So you don't have to be a spy to be charged with under the Espionage Act. But if true, also constitutes a separate crime of obstruction of justice. I mean, how many fucking charges does Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, need before he goes ahead and has several indictments issued against this bastard? So, Norm Eisen, who's a former co-counsel for the House impeachment managers, told Jennifer Rubin this, quote, simply put, the evidence of both the document crimes and the obstruction keeps getting worse for Trump. This takes the facts out of the realm of, I didn't know what was in the boxes, or it was a mistake, and right into the realm of criminal intent, according to Norm Eisen. This idea or this reality of active concealment, which is what the witness now is revealing, that he and obviously other people were ordered to hide this shit. Active concealment, which is what news reports indicate happened. That's what the Washington Post is talking about. That's classic evidence of what is called consciousness of guilt, which I guess is a legal term. It's a term to use in seeking an indictment or a conviction. Consciousness of guilt. This fucker knew what he was doing. Well, of course he did. Trump is the kind of grifter. He knows every goddamn move he makes, and he knows why he's making it. So Jennifer Rubin then has this, quote, whether for the public at large or a potential jury, the Justice Department is going to seek to make sure there is no hint of political payback in prosecuting a former president. It's this sort of egregious evidence of intentional wrongdoing that would distinguish Trump's situation from a so-called document storage dispute which is what some Republicans had tried to categorize the Mar-a-Lago case. A document storage dispute. Of course. This is what the fascist bastards who infest so much television these days and all sorts of media, these Christian terrorists, this is how they're trying to describe this. Well, it's a document storage dispute. And all Biden is trying to do is to make sure that Donald Trump won't run against him again. And, of course, the brain-dead fuckers out there with their MAGA baseball hats and this other shit, they just sit there and go, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. That's what it is. All right. Yeah, I love Donald Trump. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yep. So Norma Eisen, though, he asks, the former co-counsel of the House impeachment managers, he asked this rhetorical question, quote, if the Attorney General will allow this to go without indictment, will we even have a rule of law left? End quote. Now, the truth is that the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, seems like the last person who would look the other way and say, well, none of this shit matters. I don't think I'm going to get, I'm not going to ask the grand jury to issue indictments. That doesn't seem like Merrick Garland. And you have one or more of Trump's lawyers already providing evidence to the Justice Department. It's looking almost impossible that the orange vomit will be able to come up with a viable defense. So Jennifer Rubin closes with this sentence. The question increasingly is not whether the former president will be prosecuted, but where and when. End quote. Jennifer Rubin. Yeah. Where and when. Jesus Christ, I am sick of this man, aren't you? I thought I was going to just, I don't know. I just felt totally, for 8 years of George W. Bush, I just felt like, oh, Jesus Christ, how can I keep talking about this war criminal son of a bitch, this ignoramus? And I thought that was, nobody could be dumber and wind up president of the United States than George W. Bush. Oh, God damn. And then along comes a vicious, vampiric, lying grifter like Donald Trump, who just, for me, turned upside down my whole idea that things could never get worse than a war criminal like George W. Bush, who skates off into the sunset painting pictures. Oh, I'm a painter now. I was a war criminal. I'm responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of innocent Iraqis, but now I paint things. Huh? How about me? And then along came Trump. Along came Trump. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.